that's why we have made that. One body is the NQI, that is a National Quality Infrastructure Body, and we have already conducted a baseline study with the World Bank, and that is the policy which we are bringing in for the national quality infrastructure to build up the labs, accredited labs and accreditations, and making up a centralized kind of a body. And we are pulling in the labs, international labs and the local labs to be the members of that. So we are trying to, join the dots and make it easier. You will be surprised that a t-shirt being made by one of the companies, the minimum data points at the end of the day that you will be giving is more than 90 data points. But it's not difficult. Every single person who is in the supply chain has to do his or her work. There is no shortcut anyway. Now there is no shortcut for anybody. The panel discussion we had in the morning, of course, yes, technology is required and the sustainability is required, and we can talk about the nature and everything, but you have to compete. And if you say anything like, if somebody from the house says that no, we cannot produce any kind of a cotton which is pesticide free, we can't do that. It has been done in the world. And cotton has a replacement other than you grow a crop. You can just take up the pulp and you go for the lyocell. There is a new fiber. It's not a new, it's been since 15 years. There is a polyester which is biodegradable. It's been already produced. It's a polymeric reaction that you have to do. So things are there. Unfortunate is we did not invest in technology, and that is also the fault of our industries. Most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. So we need to bring in diversification, we need to bring in technology, we need to bring in the educationist people, they have to work in. I can challenge, I've been to NUST, Dr. Saab, I've been to different universities, and I've asked the question to the faculties that do you understand what the CSDDD is? They haven't even heard of it. And that's the dilemma. Then on the other side, if you come up with the last part, what the government is doing, we have already given different projects with the EDF and different projects for the certifications. There are subsidies being given to the SMEs through SMEDA. We are synergizing, and then we are also, a traceability cotton project has already been given, a lab has been set up for 270 million rupees for the cotton traceability. We are coming up with the sector of surgical, textiles, and different projects are there in the pipeline, and you will see many good things happening. And of course, we have GSP Plus people coming up in the next year, so we are doing those projects.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I need to give you a few numbers for the youth. German, 83 million. They have export number $2,000 billion. Dutch, they are 17.5 million. They have a number $650 billion. We are 240 million and we have a number $32 billion. So where the difference is? Universities. Why industry is not backing universities? Why businesses, why government is not parking everything? That has to be parked in the university. And you are the hope of the nation. You have to decide. You have to see the global map, since you have technology, and you have to set this target. And that is doable. If Germans can do that, if Dutch can do that, what is the difference between that nation and our nation? Education. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's come to you, since it has been pointed out that yes, now you have the command. So let's ask from the audience. We have a question here. If you can give him the mic. Yes, you are, yes, of course. The mic is coming to you. Please, if it's a question, share your name and who do you want to ask the question.
Yeah, sure. Hello, my name is Anand. I have worked at Shell and PAT. Both the companies had very well-defined ESG strategy in place in terms of the numbers, in terms of the reporting, etc. But being in the rooms where we had discussions with government agencies like SECP, EPA, etc., one thing which was very common and which I noticed was all those agencies and their people actually lacked the clear understanding and essence of ESG. They didn't have any vision to provide to market players, and apart from that, I mean, they also lacked the capacity to oversee and audit the regulations. So I mean, this is a question that anyone can answer. Like, so where do you see the challenge most in terms of the regulators' capacity? Thank you.
I 100% agree with you because now let me put a question to you, like already Dr. Yaz has said. You come up from a university, you're a fresh graduate, and you come to my company or my office, and I say, okay, there's a problem coming up with, Wasim Saab's company, and we have an issue. So why don't you go to your university, back to your university and your professors and ask them that, is there any answer for this technology, because they must be doing it. And 99%, my guess would be you say, oh, they also don't know the answer for that because they are not into that practice. Agreed? Agreed or not?
Yes, partly
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
But I think from university's perspective, I completely agree with you. But the
Yeah.
onus cannot be completely on the universities because the government regulators have to upskill themselves first.
Yeah.
Before auditing and overseeing others.
Absolutely, you're right. Now, there are laws, there are regulations, we have everything in place. Every single thing in place. Our plans have been taken up by Korea, by Malaysia, for the entrepreneurship, by different countries. But what has happened is we have a weak link in PDCA cycle that we are good planners, we do things, but we leave them in the middle. So what we are trying to do is we need to build our own, we need to build our trust. Oryx are there in the universities, but nothing has been happening. You haven't found anything, but I have. Now let me give you good examples as well. Anything which has been monetized and has been monitored in a proper way, like a sniper rifle. I give this example to many people. It's a young university, they've produced a sniper rifle for Pakistan, and it's been under the testing trials. We used to import it from Austria. It's very expensive, but now Pakistan has made it within a university. Same set of students, same set of people, but you need to give them the environment. Number one, when you go into the public sector, yes, there's an issue, and that is why these kind of people like us, they are coming into the government bodies, and people from the private sector, they've been taken up to make things easier, to make things better for the industry, and to build in the links and regulations and other sort of things. So the connect is missing, yes, and we will be refining the things, and already it's been done, like Ministry of Climate Change is doing a lot of work. There are different groups, people have been taken from the private sector, from the industry, so that's what was required.
Yeah, public-private partnership is globally the best practices, one of the best practices. Dr. Yaz.
I will add in the layman language, right in Lahore. Right. How many of you have the driving license? Can you raise? Excellent. One of the toughest licensing in the world is traffic licensing. The driving license, you get it after so many tests. It's really hard, right? But it's really easy for Pakistan.
Yeah.
Why? Because when we talk about compliance, it means mindset. When we talk about a biker with a helmet, so we have, created a ease for them to protect the driver, but what about the rider on the backside of the driver? Can anyone tell me, if there is an accident, that will not hit the injury, caused by that collision to the driver or a passenger? Does it make sense? Say yes or no. That doesn't make sense because that rider globally, both riders have to wear the helmet, and that is a compliance. Now I connect it with the Quran again. When you do the wuzu, that is a compliance. Then you give a direction to Qibla, is a compliance. And our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is our gold standard, he used to do 0.65 liter he used to consume for the wuzu. And how many liters we consume? 13 liters. So imagine if 50 million or 100 million people are doing the ablution. So how much water has been wasted? So it's a change in the mindset. The health and safety is the top priority. If you see Hafiz Center in Lahore, that has set for the fire at least 3 or 4 times. And you go now and you see that, you will again predict that within a week or 2 is going to hit the fire. Any accident can cause a fire. So this is the change in mindset, being a citizen of the nation. This is you and me. This is nothing to do. Nobody else will come. They will initiate that. The development partner, this is the best part. That development partners, they are doing this, but that is not their duty. This is our own duty as a nation. So come up as a nation and change the mindset. Thank you.
I agree with that because when I was in the industry, I was looking at the human resource and the sustainability side. One of the toughest part was making the people follow the PPEs and follow the processes and follow exactly what is asked. And I'm sure Wasim as well agree to that, that whatever processes you make, the most important thing, as you also mentioned, Dr. Fazilda, was that the capacity building is not only about letting the people know the skill set, it's also the willingness to do that and then continuously keep doing the same thing with the consistency which actually the world asks for us. That you consistently maintain the quality, and that also only happens when the mindset is there that I need to consistently supply the same quality by following the same process again and again with the same precision. And that is where the human machinery works, not any other machinery will actually be replacing us if the human machinery is going to follow. Any other question, please? Yeah, take it there and then we want to go there. If we can have the mic here, please.
Hi, my name is Shervano and I'm a third generation cotton grower. My name is Shervano. So my question is to all the panelists. What role should the government policies or incentives play in enabling businesses to transition sustainably?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. What
Can you
role
stand
should
up? There, yeah.
What role should government policies or incentives play in enabling businesses to transition sustainably?
Dr. B. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me give you an example here. And
Can we have the mic here because he also raised the hand and then we'll come to you, please.
let me just summarize, and I'll be very precise. Not an example of textiles, but example of gems and jewelry sector. India has got only one mine for gems. That was the data which was shared by the gems and jewelry sector with me. Pakistan has got 56. India is the global leader in providing the finest jewelry products and the gems and everything after the value addition. What we do is, we just pull out those stones. If it is worth, for example, 100,000 rupees, for example, you sell it for 100,000 rupees, and if you just have that technology with you, and you train the people, you have a trained people set and a lab testing, that stone is worth millions of dollars. And we just take it in our pockets and just sell it because of the poor policy and everything. But let me give you what we have come up with. We have been making the policies, we have been making different things, and with the stakeholder or without the stakeholder. But now what we are coming up is with 360-degree holistic approach. Number one, if we are going to have a compliance kind of support or a lab development for somebody, what we'll do is we'll be also working on the technology side of that sector, will be and a cluster-based approach for the common facility centers. For example, what we are trying to do with the textile, I'm not going to give the example of textiles now. For surgical, there is a deadline coming up, and we are the very indigenous kind of product producer in the world, which has been taken up by Germany. But you'll be surprised that the sector is facing the issues for MDR, Medical Device Regulation Certification Plan, which needs a high-tech lab and which needs a technology and which needs a process of testing and procedures. So we have made a project for them, and we're trying to, it's under the process. We're also looking, just not looking of building up a lab, which is worth 3 billion rupees starting cost. We're also looking into the technology setup. For example, if we give them the money and we give them a kind of support for 50% of finance, green finance to the SME, and after 2 years we come up with another challenge that their technology was not up to the mark and they cannot even qualify further for the MDR. So we're working on technology, we're working on the sector, the TVET sector to support them for the human resource. We are working on the lab and we're working on the JV so that we cannot just, we do not only work and spend money from the Pakistan's exporter or from the government. We are finding different international labs to collaborate, and we're already talking to them, and then producing a workforce, a set of consultants who can work for years and under the TOT programs to give them the consultation for the future works as well. So it's a holistic kind of approach that we are working, and we're working on a granting match kind of support, and also on green financing, which has already been done. The process, the policy has been written up by the World Bank and State Bank. So things are coming, things are there. And already, by the way, many sectors are getting the support. Leather sector, textile sector, many sectors are getting the support in terms of reimbursement of the certification programs through SMEDA, through CIP, that's a certification incentive program of most Ministry of Science and Technology. So things are already there.
That one thing, if you take these 4 fingers up, just hand up, with the 4 fingers, the first one, simple rule, which as a citizen of Pakistan, we have to ask government. Inspire, motivate, educate, then regulate. If you see plastics, we have failed. There is a SRO, there is a legal law, but there have ever been any inspiration set in a market? No. We need to inspire, we need to motivate, we need to set up at the higher level the examples and then to educate. Do you agree with this? Thank you.
So we'll take one more question. Yeah, please. With whom is your question?
Okay, so my question is towards the whole panel. Anyone can answer. We were talking about sustainability, the human condition, water scarcity. So I would just like to ask about the sustainability and human condition and its regulation of the informal industrial sector, especially textile. Slums where urban planning is to facilitate the industry and not the human condition, where there is no, where there is water scarcity, poor human condition, and lack of inclusive. Is there any sort of
we call it just transition. You know, what happened, I tell you one example. There was a loss and damage because everyone knows, whole globe knows that we are on the hit list, top 1 on the climate action. So there was funding. There was $2.5 billion being total 10 billion was committed, but 2.5 billion were actually disseminated. We call it adaptation and just transition because that has to pass to the communities. You know, you're talking about, for example, I talk about Greentown, and we don't even go there and spend money there. We don't set an educational standard there. You know, the worse schools you get in the, you know, the lower the income area, the lowest the standard of the school. This is wrong. The money has to be spent there so that they become resilient. And then we become as a nation a resilient globally acceptable, challenging situation is there. But who is going to be the responsible? We all. We have to ask them, as you have asked. This is the voices. This is the reason we are, creating these dialogue where actually the sentiments will come up and we will change the nation. And we all are the change makers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yazuddin. I'd just like to add to that and maybe respond to what I thought your question also asked. So issues of climate justice, water justice, especially that interaction of the industrial water footprint on the nearby communities. ये एक ऐसा सवाल है जो कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर बहुत अंडर रिसर्च्ड है. Now only now we're beginning to follow research leads and these trails into what is the impact of on the nearby communities of an industry, what is the impact on children's lead levels, right? What is the impact on absenteeism? Lead levels tested through water, through their water supply, water quality, but also through their blood work. Research that assesses the impact of industry on climate and health specifically is only emerging. I think there is some responsibility that we need to allocate to, and some responsibility that the government needs to take. So some regulatory pressure, some regulatory sort of. I absolutely agree with what you said about educating before regulating, but then there is like Wasim Saab said, whatever is regulated or falls in that purview, industry is sort of coerced towards it. So some sort of, and that's by the way inbuilt into ESG indicators. We've talked about ESG, we've mentioned it, it's the buzzword. The S within the E, S and G is about the company's, a business's relationship with the society, right, with the community, whether it comes in the form of gender diversity at your organization, whether it comes in terms of the relationship to the community, it comes in a shape of so many other things, right? So that relationship between business and community is also very important and something that we all need to be thinking about in our individual entrepreneurial spaces.
And I'll just add that climate justice for Pakistan globally has been discussed as well at many places, especially after the last floods that came in. And globally, government has been raising this voice that we are at the head of the climate, and most of the regulation at the industry and at the exporter level are also spent on us. So climate justice from the global perspective has been in communication at the highest level is been discussed as well. But climate justice itself is a very new concept from the social justice perspective as well. So much work has to be done in this area. One very last, very quick question because we are already 10 minutes up our topic. Yeah.
So my question is for Dr. Ayaz. My name is Maharani. I own a small-scale sustainable business.
A little louder, please, and if you can stand up, yeah.
So when we talked about how, we're like one of the exporters for Zara and all these bigger brands, and how they have, their tiers of sustainability for their own buildings and whatever they're doing in Europe, they've passed all of that. They've reached to a neutral. However, us being the suppliers of the products that they make are still quite unsustainable in terms of the material that they use and the material that's then regulated within our country. So what about the product itself? Like what about sustainable innovation that is coming, that's literally being exported into our country? And we are the people, the communities who are being affected in terms of microplastics, in terms of being like dumping grounds at the end of the day. So what is happening on a governance level in terms of innovative textiles? And we see that in India, there are fabrics being made out of banana pulp and orange pulp, and they're entire industries are sort of shifting towards that. However, we are even our cotton production is being challenged because of the floods and everything. So we have kind of taken like a back seat altogether in terms of innovative, sustainable textiles. And whenever we talk about sustainability, it's usually like a fast fashion perspective rather than a slow fashion one or a slow textile one. And I was wondering, just like, what's the impact that the governance has over this, and where do we see that going?
Okay, actually. You see, yeah, but I'll give you a supply chain. We're starting with the cotton seed. So how we can see that cotton seed when we go for the cultivation. So आप सबको पता है कि जो cotton की root बच जाती है, वो आग जलाने के काम आती है. So there is a catch in that. The roots we have, we get biochar. That's a special process. We are already working with the NUST University where they do the pyrolysis, and the carbon is retained in that biochar, and that we get money out of that. That's $30, one of the highest carbon credit you can get it. So now this comes as there are three important words attached with it. It need to be transparent, traceable, and verifiable, just like NADRA ID or your passport, because there has to be a trace. So this all comes with the compliances, and this is the opportunity for my farmer, agro-based economy. So when we grow cotton and he's getting the price of the cotton plus he's getting also the ROI on that $30 per annum. Whatever the balance he has, he will get the money out of that. So that is the one step. And let's go to the last step, which is called recycling. The whole recycling industry is not documented. So there is no traceability. Everyone from the Wasim Sab's factory, from Faz International, from my factory, we resell all waste. But there are few projects, they're already working on recycling of the fabrics. But there is no traceability because you sell it on the cash, there is no document. And that also reduces the carbon footprint because that is reducing to zero. And once it is zero, you are entitled to get money out of that. And that's under the Paris Agreement. You will get the money out of it, you get the dollars, but we are not fetching it. Everyone, rest of the world, like India, Bangladesh, everyone has cashed that because of the education and they have the capacity to encash that. We didn't have that. So recently been started on that. Last 3 years, the government is working on that, and it's going to be a big change.
Policy is in place.
Yeah,
Is
so
coming.
circularity is coming in, sustainability is we are part of the change, and hopefully in a couple of years you will see the result. Thank you.
So thank you so very much, audience. You've been very good audience. Thank you so very much for the question.
Excuse me, I have one last question.
Can we do it offline? The panel here is as well, and we are just concluding. You can ask the question offline as well. So thank you so much, moderator, from moderator to all the panelists. Very good panel discussion, very good audience. Thank you so much.
Please join me in once again thanking all of our speakers for sharing their wisdom and their insight with us. So it's now time for a bit of a change of scene and our first workshop series, our knowledge workshop series. So just to say that we've had a lot of interest in these workshops, and while we would have wanted to be able to offer every workshop to everyone, due to time constraints, we've had to schedule them in a way where there are 4 in our series that are running simultaneously. So I will be calling out the names of the workshops and where they are being held in the different spaces in Alhambra, so you can make your way there now. So the first one is Rethinking Textile Waste, and it is facilitated by Hasnain Nilani from Datini Fibers, Lauren Junistran from UK Fashion and Textile Association, Rachel Singer from Re London, and Leonie Vas from Hiral Ramani Group, Sri Lanka. And that is happening in the back gallery. The second one is the Principles of Eco-Design, which is happening in the front gallery, and that is being facilitated by Umair Ahmed Siddiqui from Textile Institute of Pakistan. And then we have the textile mythologies of the cotton plant, which is happening in Hall 3. And that is being facilitated by Catherine Bottrell from Pileo and Iman Habib also from Pileo. And then the last one is Labor and the Human Story of Fashion in Pakistan. That's happening in the Adabi Baitak area, which is where the lunch was served earlier. And that is being facilitated by Abdur Rahman from Angan, Farooq Tariq from Hakuki Khalq Party, Irfan Hoot from Labor Education Foundation, and Salima J. Khwaja, who is a music artist. So in case you are still unsure as to where to go, our team and our volunteers are around, so please ask us and we will direct you to the right direction. The only thing I want to say before I let everyone go is that please, after the workshops conclude, do make your way back to Hall 1 because we have, Hall 2, sorry, the same hall, because we have a very important concluding session. It's going to tie together a lot of the threads that have emerged from the different sessions and kind of just, make it a nice closing before we all head off for the end of our day 1 of the symposium. So that should be around 5:15. So I would just request that everybody here do come back. It's going to be a short session, but it'll nicely close things off for us. Thank you.